Welcome back to the table, friends. I am your humble host, Grady Ems, and with me, eternally, always, is Owen.
Yeah.
You cannot escape.
Until the end, Gray. Until
the end, which is about an hour.
Yeah.
All right. We're here with a special end of the year holiday presentation brought to you by Owen, who is going to put some cheer in our holiday.
Yeah. Okay. I guess you didn't get the notes I sent you. Yeah. No, I'm not doing that at all. I'm going to talk about gaming for old people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a topic that becomes more pertinent every second I take breath.
I don't think this is eternally an old person problem, people growing older. I think it's a problem for people that have a lot going on in their life.
So
a lot on their mind.
And
no.
It's specifically that.
This is for people who have a job. It might be stressful. I'm going to talk about the times when they find that free, few hours they might have in a day to sit down and play their favorite video game, and what can happen.
All right.
Yes. Hello, Windows security. Thank you. There's a specific type of modern gaming session that you'll never see in a marketing trailer or a nostalgia reel. It's not the epic raid, it's not the perfect headshot, and it's definitely not the all-night co-op marathon with the old crew. It's a night where you finally get a singular hour to yourself. The house is quiet, you sit down, turn on the console or the PC, and then you proceed to bounce between 3 different games before eventually just turning the whole thing off. You boot the first one, you load it in the menu, maybe you clear a notification or two, you try to jog your memory. Where was I? What was the control for crouch again? And then 10 minutes later, your brain just lands on a flat nope. Back to the home screen, you scroll through a wall of icons, games you swear you wanted to play, you launch something else, poke at it just long enough to feel the friction of a tutorial or a cutscene, and then you bail again. It's not that the games are bad. In fact, most of them are the exact titles you used to dream about owning. Big, sprawling, expensive, the kind of stuff teenage you would have lost your entire weekend to. But here you are, older, tired, with less free time than you've ever had, and you are quietly burning that precious time in a limbo between play and exit. For a lot of us, this is what adult gaming quietly turned into, wanting the idea of gaming, having the means to buy whatever we want, but feeling like nothing actually sticks. And then, in the back of your head, that other voice starts whispering, you know the one, you could be doing something productive right now. You could be cleaning. You could be answering emails. You could be making money. You could be anything except a grown adult staring at a loading screen for a third time tonight. We end up living in this tension. Oh, I'm older. The magic doesn't hit like it used to, and I live in a culture that tells me any fun that isn't productive is a waste of time. So that's where we're going for this episode.
Okay, I want to go home. I don't want to be here anymore. I feel, as you said, seen, targeted.
So,
I gotta go back to my farm.
Gray, can you give me an example maybe of a time this might have happened to you?
Yeah, so within the past 6 months, any night that you want to choose has happened to me. So, like, oh my God.
I told you this one was going to be difficult.
Yeah, all right. This is great. This is a great holiday. Yes. Yeah, exactly what you said, right? Like you go and you're like, hey, I'm having a rough day. I'm going to take this hour and a half of my time and I'm going to go dump it back where I used to love to be. I'm going to sit in a chair that I've sat at for 32-hour marathons of games before. I'm going to get my keyboard set up and my hand on the mouse, and I'm all ready to go in. And after 15 minutes, I exit and I start watching YouTube videos.
So why do you think that is?
I think there are depression. That was, I think, a large, because I don't think okay, I have a lot of different ideas. I think part of it is that there is something inherently about the mechanism and the limitations of what you had when you were younger because you didn't know of these responsibilities and these stressors. Your brain prioritized like the only thing it saw, which was like, what are you going to do with yourself? So if you had a game and you like had to be at work in the morning, you had two responsibilities. I have to go to sleep and I have to play this game. It's easy for the brain to be like, hook all the dopamine responses up to this game and enjoy the shit out of it. But when you fast forward 20 years and you're like, I want to play this game. I want to go to sleep. I have to take out the trash. There's that looming bill issue I have to get into. My wife wants to start that project. And if I don't talk to her about it, I'm going to waste my Saturday doing it. There's like, and now your brain's like, whoa, this is a small piece of the puzzle and I'm not going to hook it up to the dopamine response properly anymore. I'm only going to give you a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're like, why am I not getting why can't I sit down and run through the barrens and level up herbalism and be freaking happy with myself and occasionally crack dark jokes to my friends, you know?
So similar situation. We can use the WoW analogy for this as well, where I've had situations where I did find a game that, you know, kind of hooked me for a while and I played it, really enjoyed it. And then I realized how much time I spent playing it. And then I stopped playing it because I'm just like, I can't devote this much time to it because I'm not getting the things done that I need to. And that causes anxiety. And I might try to play the game again, but then that anxiety comes back before the dopamine kicks in. And I'm just like, I have to go take care of this. I have to go do this. I can't spend my time doing this. And then that anxiety happens just walking into the gaming room.
Oh, Jesus. I don't think I'm that bad yet.
It doesn't happen a lot, but that has happened in the past. And there's an MMO that we both played for years that has rebooted itself several times. And that, like, if there's an AA for WoW addicts, you know, I would be a member of it. And it is that situation where I don't think it can compare to actual addiction, but that whole thing where it's just like, you know, you spend your whole life and you know you have to drink water. And then you can't drink water because you find out water is bad for you, but your body constantly craves water. Like that's what that is. And anytime you think about it, it's just like, man, I really would like to do that. But then that realization kicks into the back of your brain. It's like, do you know how much of your life you wasted just sitting there and you literally have nothing to show for it?
I think we have a slightly different takes on that. I feel a lot of what you're saying. I think I have a different bent on it.
Yeah.
But interesting.
So I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it just because, you know,
it's good podcasting.
Have you found a game that relieves your anxiety, that helps you to just relax, like recently?
Oh, just relax?
Yes. Something that you can do and you can just turn your brain off.
It's absolutely just perfect setup is the farming.
Yeah.
Like Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, and currently Coral Island, the weird Coral Island, like that is the fidget gameplay loop for me. Mm-hmm. It's just the thing I need. Like, you know, daily circlet.
Yeah.
You know, there's just a little bit of optimization, but it's like optimization that a 5-year-old can figure out.
Mm-hmm.
There's not like the Factorio level.
Right.
You know, and I can literally listen to a podcast or a long form YouTube video while playing it. It's not more complicated.
You don't have to be paying so much attention to it.
No. And then there's just something kind of semi-rewarding because it feeds into, I don't know, like it feels like the end result is a reward. Like I was actually thinking about this recently because we always think about games we'd want to make. And I was like, I kind of wish they made a anime version of like Stardew Valley or something like that, based on the concept of all these isekais where the farmer just starts over and then the people just like the elves show up. And instead of
didn't somebody make that?
They kind of had made things like that, but like I like the idea of the person starting off in a farm instead of there being a civilization and them being immortal, because like all these games don't quite make sense because you can just go on forever.
Right.
And then being like people come in, and the more you like go interact with the people, the more likely they're to like develop a farm place nearby. And it'd be really cool if generations went by and you're the weird immortal wizard farm guy. And they're like, oh yeah, you got to go talk to Gray on his farm, and like come back. He's like, oh, you helped my grandfather once. And you're like, really? Oh man, I've been playing this game too much. But yeah, I'll get you the turnips if you need them. Oh man, this is weird.
It's like everybody's lifespan is 3 seasons.
Yeah, something like that. It's so cool. It's like at first, like little hobbits show up because little folk came out of, and then eventually there's like a war, and they're like, well, you need to like, and you're like, no, I'm a farmer. And they're like, oh, well, the delegation's coming and they want to talk to you. And you're like, why? They're like, because you're the immortal wizard farmer. And you're like, oh. And you're like, oh, you guys are famine? I can teach you farming techniques.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
It's kind of a love-hate relationship, but RimWorld, I have thousands of hours into that game. I've committed atrocities. I have committed genocide. I've done some horrible things in that game. But yeah, it's a game that I enjoy the build-up of the beginning of the game more than I enjoy the long-term goals of the game. I don't really know why that is, but I like establishing my base more than the upkeep of it.
So that's a good thing. So because we don't play each other's game, and I think you just said what's about to prove, so this may be kind of pointless, but so in both the farming sims, Stardew Valley, and any game like it, I often find myself restarting because the time I get most into the game is like designing the farm.
Yep.
And then like once it's running, it gets to be something that you want to walk away from.
Right. Yep. It's almost like you want to go, okay, I have this farm set up. NPC, come take this over while I go do another one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, good. So there's that parallel in both of them.
Yep. I've tried so hard to get into Stardew Valley and stuff like that because everybody's like, these are such good games. And I just don't get the draw. There's something in my brain that it doesn't tickle.
Like, to me, it's like flavors of dopamine. And I think you need the flavor that has whatever this, like the little bit of moral, little bit of...
I need some chaos in there.
Like that's the stuff you need. And like I'm in like the baby town where like everything needs to be happy. Nothing bad happens kind of stuff. Like there's a fantasy version. It's called like something Haven, Sunhaven. And that version has things that happen like orcs show up.
Oh, okay.
And like you, the blacksmith and the adventurer will come out and be like, we got to fight orcs. And like every day you got to devote like 80 swings to killing the orc boss. And like, it did kind of cool. But the problem was I blitzed through it and then they were like, now go talk to the emo vampires, start a farm there. And I was like, no, I'm done. Okay.
I'm done.
You branched too far away from my path.
When we were kids or teenagers, none of this felt complicated. You got a game, and good or bad, that was your whole weekend. Maybe it came from a rental store, maybe from a birthday, maybe from trading cartridges at school. It almost didn't matter. You had one new thing to play, and the question wasn't, is this the perfect game for my mood? It was, how far can I get before Monday? There weren't 30 other options installed and waiting. If you bounced off something, you went back anyways because that was what you had. Your body could handle marathon sessions without complaining. You could sit on the floor for 6 hours with a controller and stand up with maybe a stiff leg at worst. Responsibility meant taking out the trash, finishing a math worksheet, maybe helping with dishes before you were allowed to plug in the console. Once you did, the rest of the world shrank down to a CRT glow and whatever music the title screen looped. Now, at the end of a workday, relaxing with a game has to fight its way through everything else your brain is juggling. You're tired, maybe sore, already thinking about tomorrow's schedule. There are bills to pay, messages you forgot to answer, a kitchen that probably needs cleaning. Even when you technically have free time, your brain is still half in your inbox, and half in a to-do list you will never finish. A game asking for a couple of uninterrupted hours isn't just asking for time, it's asking for mental bandwidth, and you don't always have that. On top of that, modern games are often front-loaded with friction. You do not just turn them on and start a level. You sit through 10 minutes of cinematic intros, logos, and previously on recaps. You get control tutorials layered on top of progression systems, layered on top of current season daily challenges. There are complicated builds, branching dialogue trees, difficulty settings that feel like personality quizzes. Even when you want to get the fun part, you have to climb a wall of onboarding to reach it. You end up in a strange, unfamiliar comparison, younger you versus current you. Younger you could slam through a JRPG over one long weekend. Younger you could pick up complex systems on the fly, learn by doing, and take those losses in stride. Younger you could stay up until 3 a.m. and still function the next day. Modern you looks at the exact same kind of experiences, sees the estimated hour count, and feels tired before the title screen fades out. It's very easy to misread that feeling as I don't like games anymore. The story we tell ourselves becomes my taste changes, or nothing is as good as it used to be. Sometimes that's true. Often, though, it's less about taste and more about capacity. Your life simply shifted around them until they no longer fit the way they used to. So do you have a game series or a type of game that you used to just love and now you're like, I can't do that anymore?
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So I've had Resident Evil 2 for the PS4 for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
And because I had time, I cracked the cover and I put it on, and my wife was like, oh, well, she had some interest in knowing the story of it because she's seen the movies and stuff. And she was like, oh, well, like if I do something nearby, I can like watch you and listen to you play. And I was like, cool. And I started playing it. And did you ever play Resident Evil games?
The early ones, but I haven't played anything in the last 15
years.
No,
that's fine. So the early games, you remember like ammo is pretty scarce?
Yes.
Scarce. So I played the game. I played Resident Evil 2 to the point where I had every item memorized. I knew basically where every zombie was. Like I could speed run the game, and I was getting under 3 hours, which unlocks like some of the special stuff that you can get. So like I should have been like ready, prepared. And I started playing the game, and like it's not like I died a bunch or anything like that. I was so off. I couldn't bite into the shooting mechanics and get effective to where I need to be, that I basically got to the first boss and I had no ammo and I died. And that save is screwed because I have no ammo.
Yeah.
And I was like, what happened? And like part of it's because the previous game was like a turret shooter, so all you had to do is like tap up to get headshots. And now if you shoot a zombie in the head 4 or 5, like I don't understand. Headshots might do more damage, but they don't kill a zombie outright. And the Lictor just, let's not even talk about that. So like functionally, I was like, I love this story. This game, the old one, is like an integral part of who I am. And I can't even buy into the new one. Like I want to go back and play it, but I think I'm going to switch it to easy mode because I was like, I like to enjoy the experience now. I need to build back up to where I was before. And I was like, what happened? This is one of my definitive games. Yeah. That threw me for a loop.
For me, it's first person shooters.
Oh, geez.
I can't even touch them. And it's two things. So when I first started playing first person shooters, a lot of them had a story that you played along with and you did. And that was what intrigued me. I liked playing that. I liked seeing the story, seeing how everything played out. And now everything is Twitch muscles, online play that I have no want to be a part of. A, because the community seems really toxic, and B, I just can't keep up with it.
There you go. So there was a commenter who, one of the few people listened to us who had I don't know if you read that, his response, but he brought up a really good point, is that basically if you objectively look at first person shooters, there is no real good way for them to make an opponent that is better than a human. Because either the opponent will be inhuman,
right,
where they'll like aim quicker than a human can, shoot like, or they'll be AI kind of garbage, and
right.
you basically can learn their pattern and pick them off. And so like if you are skilled and competitive and you sit down to play that game and you want to feel that the game is challenging you and you want to find that threshold of skill versus challenge that like is the flow state and everybody enjoys, like if you are good at it, you're going to end up kind of wanting to play against people over and over again. The problem that is that that's not a majority of people that are in that position. And when you look at age demographics, that's even smaller.
Yeah.
And so as like a compensation, well, so the other problem is that by making people be enemies, they don't have to develop half or more of the game.
Yep.
So they can just go, here's the thing, PvP.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they're like, now the people are the like, and so there is no push to ever reclaim BioShock.
Right.
Half-Life. You know, like, why would you ever make that game now?
You just do some kind of hero shooter and...
No, like, even if Half-Life 3 comes out, they're just like, oh, it's Gordon Freeman, it's a drop into the city, race to the whatever, and like, who can get an extraction shooter or something like that, you know? Like, the company's going to want to do this. They're going to want to do something cinematic. And so, like, you end up with this argument proposition. And people who play first-person shooters competitively, like they're always going to feel like, well, why would you want that? And they're like, because everybody else would.
Yeah.
You know, like it just, there are some people that have some reason for not being able to play the game as quickly and accurately, whether it's, you know, like it's an ability access, you know, it's some sort of like accessibility issue, it's age, it's time, it's skill, whatever. And previously, all those people could play these games.
Yep.
You know, and the closest thing we get it to now is like Doom.
Yeah.
Like Doom was kind of but even then, the mechanics were trying to buy to the people who were competitive.
Right.
And they were like, we want to get you in here, not focus on the story and all the,
So back on age, when do you think this all started for you? This whole sensation of, you know, I can't enjoy games like I used to.
Oh, that's interesting. When did it start? So, okay, let me go through a timeline and try to figure it out. So we played WoW. When we played Classic, Burning, Wrath of the Lich King, like Wrath of the Lich King, I felt that aside from the personality quirks that prevented me from actually like...
You're talking about in vanilla, not classic, right?
Sorry, you're right. Vanilla, sorry. Vanilla, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King. Aside from the personality quirks that prevented me from like talking to people and actually doing the things that would need to do to get competitive, I felt that I had an access to the game that was good enough to compete with anybody else. Because like my run with Camacho, where like I had a cheesy class, was like the peak of me gaming. Like I was competitive as hell, like, and I was all like big headed because I was like destroying people, but that was all more just because of the bracket. Anyway, but like at that point, I felt that it didn't matter who was coming up. I had just a good shot against him as normal. I would definitely say by the time Classic came around and we went back, I was like, I'm an old person now.
Yeah.
So that's definitely true. But that's what, like 10 years?
Yeah, give or take.
I want to say so the Souls games came out and those were one of the games where like I struggled with the whole concept of well, no, Souls games don't have difficulty. Souls games are games that came out where I struggled with something that had a difficulty. And I was like, man, this is hard. And I kind of would find the cheesy build to do to still play the game. Oh, okay. No, here we go. Sekiro, whatever. Like, that one?
Yep.
Because Max played it and I played it. We had played the same games before and I could not master the parry dodge mechanics in the game. Like, it don't matter how many times I tried. Like, I gave it a week where I was like going in and I was basically doing a repetitive grind, trying to learn the timing. And like that game, you had to, because there was no like, oh, you could block or you could, like you had to do like either recognize like either the parry or the dodge. And I think that was the first time like I gave up trying to master something. And I think because the first time I did it, then subsequent games, I was just like, maybe I need to crank it to easy. Maybe I need to just stop doing it. But yeah, I this last summer was the first time like I picked up a controller and I couldn't move the controller as well as I used to.
Yeah.
Because of just years of sitting at a keyboard and mouse at work and stuff now. And my hands don't.
That muscle memory. Oh, it's actually holding the controller is difficult. Wow.
Like everything was like different doing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, and there's a whole joke I used to make about gamer muscle and hands being all, and I was like, everything is now not where
was the apathy in your hands?
The apathy.
It's a little inside joke. This.
Yeah. What about you? When you...
I think for me, it's a bit more recent. I think a lot of things have happened in about the last 5 years that have kind of reminded me of my age and my responsibilities and the things I should have been doing. And that has really hit me in the I should be doing something more important right now part of my brain. And that's about the last 5 or 6 years where the reality that I'm not where I should be.
Yeah, I think you have there's a mental component that I don't have. Like we both are going through the other parts of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got this added component. I don't, anyway, it's not podcast fodder to talk about the reason why, but like I can sympathize with even though I'm like, most of the reason I don't have is probably chance, but and like honestly, listening to what you said was the right thing to do at the time while you didn't do it. Like, what happened? But yeah, I get that. I get I understand that added thing probably fucks that up. So feel bad.
Yeah. Well, if this was only about getting older and having less energy, that would be its own story. You could file it under aging and move on, but sitting underneath all of this is something uglier. The expectation that any time you're not being productive is the time you're throwing away. We live in an era where free time is treated like a budget. You're supposed to reinvest it in yourself. If you're not learning a skill, building a side hustle, working on your body, or optimizing your environment, you're told you're wasting potential. Rest is tolerated only when it can be framed as fuel for more work later. Hobbies are easier to justify when they can be turned into a content or money or some viable form of self-improvement. Games sit squarely in the crosshairs of that mindset. Sitting down to play for a couple of hours doesn't usually produce anything you can show off on a resume or a tax return, don't I know it? There's no certificate at the end of the night in an RPG, no LinkedIn endorsement for finishing a visual novel. Unless you stream it, monetize it, or turn it into some kind of personal brand, gaming is just fun. And for a lot of adults, just fun feels uncomfortably close to worthless. It's how you end up with internal tug of war. You finally get a small sliver of time, you start a game, and then the guilt voice kicks in. You should be doing something productive. Not because you genuinely want to do those other things in that moment, but because you have absorbed the idea that unproductive joy is suspicious. That pleasure needs to be justified. The game doesn't have to be bad for you to bounce off it. It only has to be competing with the fear that you're living your life wrong. It twists the knife in a very specific way. For years, gaming was a safe place you went to get away from pressure. It was the thing you reached for when schoolwork or real life felt too much. Now, for a lot of us, the pressure has followed us in. It's sitting on the couch next to us asking, what exactly are you getting out of this every time we pick up the controller? So I know I did when I was a kid, but did you have anybody in your life that was just like, put that trash down and go do something?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not to the extent that I saw you. No, we both had fathers who definitely thought about it.
Yeah.
My mom was like, when I was very little, she would sneak in and play the game.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a period of time where she was like, but neither of them understood it.
Yeah.
My sister helped out a lot because she kind of was like, I think, so it didn't really become well, okay, I'll take it back. When I was growing up, my dad was just we're like on the same page there. Like growing up, my dad was like, why are you watching cartoons on a Saturday morning? Like none of it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
He, maybe because of his age, I don't know, but when he retired, his attitude changed. And he was just like, instead of a thing that annoys me, now it's a thing I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And occasionally he would be like, why? Like, I don't know if I ever told you this. When I moved back in with them from here, and like after a few months, because like largely that was a financial decision and a decision to go back to school, I was like, okay, I'm going to sit in my room and play games because like I don't want to spend extra money. Like I want to start getting back up, like pad my bank account a little bit, basically put the hours in work. And we were playing, pretty sure we were still playing WoW, or we were still playing some game online. And one day my dad came to me and he gave me $100 and he was like, go do something. And I was like, Dad, I have a job. I have a full-time job. I manage a retail place. I'm like, what do you think? And he was just like, well, you're up there in your room all the time you have off. And I'm like, yeah, by choice. Like he couldn't comprehend that, like, he just didn't understand, and I remember after that, he was like, I don't understand. And then we started having these conversations with my mom where she was legitimately like, what do you do every Saturday you leave, or Sunday night? She's like, what is that? And I was explaining to her TTRPGs and I was explaining to her other stuff. And she's like, oh, like you're doing these social things. You're going out and gaming with
What did she think you were doing?
They just had no idea. So they had this, like I told you, my dad...
He's going out underneath the bridge and giving handies.
That's the whole thing where my dad was like, I don't know if you're gay or doing drugs.
Yeah, he told me about that.
What are you doing? Like, going over to my buddy's house and playing Legacy of Kain. I don't understand. Yeah, no. But it was just, there was like a large disconnect from them. And then then they were just like, oh, well, we're not going to do a judgment on it anymore. We're just going to let you do your thing. And yeah, that was... But so what you're saying, I don't have with video games. Famously, when I first got married and Baldur's Gate 3 came out.
Yeah. I know you put a lot of time into that game.
And my wife was like, what is happening to our marriage? Have I married someone who just sits in his room all day? She couldn't, because she has this 1,000%.
Yeah.
She's like, she can't sit down and play an hour worth of video game at all because she's like, I've wasted an hour.
Right.
I don't have with video games. I'm starting to develop with TTRPGs. And so I've had these same thoughts and discussions in my head of how am I letting this joy be taken away from me?
Right.
Because I'm starting to watch too much content where what we do for fun could be content, which it can't.
Right.
Like, can we record our vampire games? Well, no, there's too much shit. And no one wants to listen to our crap, right? It's like, if you could cherry pick the moments we thought were funny, but like, that's not a thing that can happen.
No.
Like,
and you need the context of those moments too.
Yeah. So no one really wants to hear every single person's D&D group. No one wants to hear every single person's vampire group. And the groups that people do want to listen to, which are few and far between, are often because of the personalities that are there. And you're watching, it's not like you don't want to watch everybody play football.
Right.
You want to watch the cream of the crop play football because then it's entertaining. And that social pressure of, but this could be valuable and you're losing value by not doing it, then puts you in the mindset of like, but should we do that? Should we put cameras up? Should we put this up? Should we? And every time we start a new game now, I'm like, oh, should we record it? And I'm like, no, not only is that a bad decision for the group because we're going to act differently, and it's not putting that choice on top of everybody at the table, but also it just means that I won't enjoy it as much. Like, I can't then have a bad day and be like, whatever. Or I can't just then like, oh man, I'm going to just run with this because I don't give a crap about it.
And while you're doing this, everything you're focusing on is this good content?
Yeah.
You're like, I have to make sure this is good content.
Yeah, that's not like the in the moment joy of like, just like, yeah, okay. Sure. I tried to come up with something on the spot. All I could think about was no. I could think about was the gardeners did it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
shit. But so I now I'm caught on to what you're getting at, but like I said, it's not.
It's not specifically video games. It could be any type of gaming.
Yeah,
really.
For me specifically, it's like the hobby stuff.
Yeah,
like painting.
Yeah,
if I'm painting Warhammer stuff, should I film myself painting? Well, I'm not good enough painter to do that, but
what am I going to talk about while I'm painting?
I bought all of the Imperia magazine, the subscription where basically it's like a cheap way for you to get certain miniatures. But the whole problem is that in aggregate, you're getting miniatures that you don't need.
Right.
So it's not worth the money in total. People spot certain issues and they'll buy a bunch of them because those are really cheap issues. My whole convincing that I had in my head was I was going to buy that and I was going to paint. I was going to film a video for each episode that comes in, each magazine that comes in, tear it apart, paint it up, and then film a video, which a dude did. Some dude in England already did this and whatever. So that was oh, that's what's that. Wow, put a stroke here. That is what that is for. There we go. Too many in that. So now, that's the enjoyment, and it needs to be value pulled from it, and which means I can't pull that out and enjoy pieces of it, and I'm but where does that lead to?
Yeah, it doesn't let you. It doesn't let you enjoy the thing you have because you're too busy trying to extract all of the interesting things from it to show other people and make money off of it.
And so then it led me down the kind of the thought process of why did I do this to begin with?
Yeah.
And can I go back to that? And in video game terms, I think I'm kind of in a cool place right now where I'm about to experiment with an isolation situation where I can just bring a game in and I'll have nothing else. And I've never been able to go through the latest Zelda games, the 2 for Switch, that are best game of the world kind of thing. I got 20 minutes in, couldn't complete it. And now in isolation, I'm kind of thinking if that's the only thing I can wrestle with on a nightly basis, maybe I will. And I'm can I rediscover some joy of just sitting in a chair in front of a crappy TV and
right.
This is all I have. And because it's all I have, can I feel good about playing it again? And can I feel good about, I'm not going to do anything else other than sleep. So this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
What's my take?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I understand.
Yeah. So I guess, is that all?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's, okay. There's more to this, but I mean, that was the question I wanted to ask.
All right.
If productivity culture whispers that unproductive fun is worthless, the modern gaming ecosystem happily piles on evidence. Subscription services, constant sales, humble bundles, wish lists, free games dropping into your library every week. You go from dreaming about a single new release to having hundreds of titles sitting there waiting in silent rows of icons watching you scroll past. Backlogs used to be a stack of physical boxes or cartridges. You could line them up on a shelf, see exactly what you owned, and maybe feel a little proud of it. Now they are scrolling a list of unplayed titles, each one a small promise you made to yourself. I'll get to that someday. I'll finally try that series. I bought that on sale because I didn't want to miss out. Over time, those promises quietly turn into obligations. Not only are you not being productive, you're also failing at consuming your fun correctly.
See, this is directly pile of shame too.
So you boot a game or grab a book. You could feel yourself not loving it instantly, and instead of just saying not tonight, a whole chorus of thoughts show up. You spent money on this. Everyone says it's amazing. You should at least play a few more hours. You're never going to get through your backlog at this rate. The pressure that used to be reserved for work and chores now attaches itself to the very thing that was supposed to be an escape. Paradoxically, more choices can lead to less satisfaction. When every play session feels like a decision about how to best use your dwindling free time, every choice starts to feel high stakes. There's a lot of weight to put on what is, at the end of the day, just pressing start. So I feel like you have something to say about this.
Because no, this is a like the crux of this part of the argument or this part of the discussion is exactly what people have about their pile of shame.
Yep. That's why you call it a pile of shame.
No, because it's just like it's this thing of like where you're like, okay, I acquire another piece of plastic, another model kit, and now that sits on this pile of model kits that I will get to, and they're all projects that I want to start, and they're all things I care about. But then you run to this whole thing with like, now it's an obligation, now because you're struggling with techniques and with whatever reason that you didn't like get the progress you wanted, you're not done with the thing. So when the new hotness comes out, you buy it, it goes in line.
Yep.
And eventually the line becomes a mountain that is suffocating. And eventually you hit a threshold, which was told to me before I realized that I was so far on the other side of the threshold I couldn't see it, of you will not physically be able to do this by the time you die. Like, there is too much in this. You have invested too much in it. You bought too much into it. And so like case in point, in all the Warhammer I have, well, not currently painting this, but I don't want to talk about that because someone listens to this. Because I'm doing a specific project that I want to talk about. But roll back. The project I've been working on for the past month or so, like when I felt like painting, was painting a combat patrol up as Blood Angels. I don't want to play Blood Angels.
You're doing it purely for someone else.
Nobody wants to play Blood Angels. There's not even a person for this. So like, how removed am I that then I go to the store and I buy a Space Wolf thing that I want to put, and it goes into a box that is labeled never to see light of day, like, and you're like, and there's so many mixed things, like you said, like you're thinking of like now, like, this is a sunken cost fallacy thing, or is there some element of like something could change where I would want to sit down and play it, or I'm not making progress. And then you hit the voices of like, yeah, but I really could be doing something else, or like, oh, I really should stop what I'm doing at the time, even if I'm enjoying it, and go paint because it's important. But like, you're never going to enjoy that then.
No.
And then you think back to me and you splitting a copy of Battle for McRae, and me going down in the basement and like with the thick tubes of latex that you bought, and just been like, man, I'm going to paint the fuck out of these guys with the googly-eyed sergeant point, and like being fucking happy and like, I want to do this forever.
And I think that's because at the time we really didn't have anybody else to compare it against, because now all you see online are these professionals who paint these things for a living. And it's just like, well, I can never compare to that, so why even bother?
Yeah, like I put everything I had, because when I painted the sergeant out of this combat patrol, I put everything I had into it, because I was like, I want to benchmark. Because once again, like, I'm a simple idiot. Like, part of my brain is like, I could do it if I tried, and it's always just gonna fall in with what the algorithm gives me, so I'm just sweeping along with the crowd. These tricks will take you to be a professional painter. And so like, I was like, I want to take this moment and do it as hard as I possibly could.
I'm painting so fucking hard right now.
And I got the little like magnifier glasses.
Oh, God.
And I'm sitting there like, and I'm just doing everything I can on this thing. And myself from that Black Reach set, and when we actually played Warhammer, this model would have been the best painted thing any of us had or ever seen in person. And I'm like, it's trash. And I'm like, man, I suck at painting. It is worthless. That sucks. I've got so much to go, because I'm comparing it to people who won international awards, because that's what's given to me every day.
Yep.
And like, your sensibilities just get broken. Like, you can't. And once again, it's so like, if objectively, if you walk past it and see it on the table, you're like, that's fun. That's cool. Could we play a game and me have that guy and I'll have fun? And none of that happens. None of the joy happens. Only the weird bullshit that we've.
And what makes it worse is you're not the only one. There are so many people that consume the same content as you, and they might not be painting or even have a reference for how difficult it might be to do something like that. But because they've seen that content and then they see something you worked hard on, they're like, that's trash.
And the other thing, which now I'm thinking about it, I go back to the playing Resident Evil, is like the whole thing that's stopping me from playing it is because like likely I'll have to pick it up and put it on easy.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? I bought the game.
Yeah, you own it. You play it.
Like
play it the way you want. That makes you enjoy it.
Have joy from at least playing the game. But like once again, everybody knows in the community if you switch off from normal.
Well, no, every game has to be played on hard mode.
Yeah, exactly. It's even worse than that.
Yeah,
if you're playing on normal, that's even worse. And you're like, God, all this stuff we put in our way of fun.
Yeah,
guys, we're all gonna die. Like, we don't have enough time to do this to ourselves. Like, I can't sit there and do this.
It's like, I really think the old guys that, go out wearing socks and sandals and shorts and like Hawaiian shirt. And it's just like, how can he stand going out in public like that? And then somebody says like, you kind of look trashy. And they just go, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like they got something.
Dude, be that guy.
For all of this, age, exhaustion, productivity pressure, backlog guilt, most of us still have something that cuts right through the noise. It might not be the big new release anymore. It might not be the 120-hour RPG everyone is yelling about, but there are still pockets where play actually feels like play. Maybe it's a cozy farming sim you dip into for 20 minutes at a time, or a few hours, I've noticed. Maybe it is a simple puzzle game on your phone that does not ask you to remember a plot or a control scheme. Maybe it's replaying the same old comfort title every year, knowing every beat by heart. Maybe it's a multiplayer game you only touch when a specific friend is online. They're not always the games that show up on Game of the Year lists, but they fit the shape of your actual life. Maybe it's the quiet answer to the whole fun must be productive lie. The value of a game session is not measured in content cleared, achievements unlocked, or skills gained. It's measured in whether you got a brief moment where your brain was not on fire with everything else. Whether you laughed, whether you felt, even for a little bit, like a person instead of a machine that has to justify its own downtime. So, what's a small thing you think you can do in the next year to make yourself feel better about maybe not gaming like we said, but your hobbies, your Warhammer, your TTRPGs?
So I mean, there's a couple things I want to do, but I think the one thing I'll talk about is we are hitting a point where we're going to transition into our next game. And if recent history has taught us anything, it's likely that we'll bounce back and forth between me picking something and failing shortly, and then someone taking in the reins and then failing and then giving it back to me and you failing. Recently, even before this, but now definitely after this train of thought you have led us through, Owen, I want to like kind of sit down with everybody and like I still think playing Vampire and playing the Vampire the way I'm leading towards playing it is what I want to do. I want everyone just to write down I want everybody to be like, hey, these are the circumstances that are changing in our lives to do this. What would be fun? What would bring joy? Like, what is the thing you want to do? What is the thing you want to get out of this? And let's throw all the other stuff out the window. Because the only reason that we're all doing this, like we're not talking on a podcast about a hobby.
Yes.
And the only reason a hobby exists is for the release of stress and the gaining of fun and joy. It is not a grind to make money. It is not a method to gain followers.
As our viewership shows.
Yeah. We're talking in the void. We always know that. I speak to the void specifically. It is a hobby. It's just meant to be the thing that, like, we all got together because someone once convinced us to come to a table, right?
Yeah.
Like we talked about that in the beginning of this, where we were like, why do you play TTRPGs? Because somebody in your life was like, dude, come to this table and
try it.
And you did. And in that moment, you had joy in your heart, whether it was joy of, I'm going to fuck people over and learn secrets and not tell them, or it was joy of like, I get to be a goofy person or roll dice or tell stories or whatever the thing was that you had joy of. And like, that is all it should be. It should go back to that point and do that. And like, my thing was, I wanted all the stuff about being a DM and wanting to like care about people's stories. Sure. I wanted to provide that. Like, my joy was, I want the people at the table to come down and have an experience. And selfishly, I want to be the one who was like, yeah, Gray was DMing when that happened. And Gray played that awesome game. And as long as like my name is attached to it kind of thing, and I'm sitting back going, oh, look at all this. Like, I'm probably good. All the rest of the stuff over the years has come and gone and eroded, and I don't need my story to be told anymore, and I don't need my characters to that's all. I've learned those lessons. I just want to sit at a table and watch you play a character that you're like, you get that look on your face where you're like, oh, I want to smile, but I don't want people to know I'm smiling. I want Drake to sit down and be like, this is the coolest whatever character. And I don't even remember what.
Dahlia.
Your wife. My wife. What code name did we give her? And I want Dahlia to play a character that like, I can hear her high-pitched voice change when stuff happens. And she's like, what?
The shriek when she realizes what has happened.
My brother is being enraptured by La Sombra. Like, if you had told Keith this 3 weeks ago, something could have been done about it. You know, like, I want that to happen. Listening to old podcasts, I want our buddies who we've critiqued selfishly, who I know maybe they don't live up to the critical role, but who
does?
I know who does, but who's
like, we're some bastions ourselves,
but who sat at the table and had fun and laughed. I want that joy back, and so
me too.
Like you said, if the question is this year, what little thing I want is, I just want to go back to having sessions where we all walk away. We're like, ha, we feel good that happened. And I figure if I can do that once a month, then I'm contributing to the betterment of society in some small way.
My goal for at least a few of those is to get Max to join in, because the trifecta is when so much joy happens.
The formula needs him.
Yes. I am nothing without my foil or my aggressive, I need to progress this story, where I'm in the background just going like, I need to get this story off the rails, and I need that person to start the train down the tracks before I can do anything.
It always feels like those cartoons where like the supervillain won, and then he's like, but I don't have the guy to beat up anymore. But no, like we've talked about it before a billion times. The equation needs him to balance everything.
Yeah.
It's a 3-legged stool, and it's hobbling on 2 legs.
Yeah, he is the type of player at your table that everybody needs to have. The person that's constantly driving the story forward.
Without being like, I'm a leader.
Right.
Genuinely like, but the thing, it was expressed, and I need to find out.
Yes. He is that dog constantly chasing or trying to find a bone. Like, he is... out of the 3 of us, he is the most single-minded when he puts his focus on something. Like, he can devote all of his energy to a singular task multitudes better than you or I can, but he also burns out on it faster than anybody else.
Son.
And he's the person that For 3 months, this thing was my life. And then yesterday, I just put it away and I will never touch it again. Like, I don't know how people... He's the dude that was just like, yeah, I just took cocaine, meth, heroin, all at the same time.
All great experiences, and I'm done.
I'm done. Yep. I experienced it. I'm done with it.
You're like, that's physically
it's
impossible.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought that's my podcast for the day. I thought we'd end on a high note this year.
Hell yeah, man. I think if we could both achieve even half of that, half of each of our goals, man.
Yeah.
We might be flying high next year. Well, guys,
for those of you, for that person that listened all the way through,
for me, after I edit this, I hope everybody has a really great holiday season. I hope you guys find your joy.
Yeah.
And I hope that we also find our joy selfishly. So I hope we're all finding joy and happiness in the holiday season.
Right. Goodbye.